What's up? I was asked to review Cesar Millan's 10 dog training tricks, so this is what I think about them. By the way, the original article, which I will link in the description below, was published in 2016, so maybe things have changed since then. But as far as I know, the dog whisperer Cesar Millan is still doing and preaching for most of those things. 1. An exercise dog is a trainable dog. The dog whisperer often meets pet owners who have failed to provide their dogs proper exercise. In his book, A Member of the Family, Millan explains that dog training becomes virtually impossible without a daily exercise routine. So I actually do agree with it mostly. Dogs do need to be exercised, physically or mentally. You might not be able to walk your dog 3 times a day for 30 minutes each walk, or you might not be able to take your dog to the dog park or anywhere that's safe for your dog to play out, but you can still do a lot of enrichment and a lot of dog training in the house in order to exercise your dog. And that's healthy for both his body and his mind. 2. Just like kids, dogs need a schedule. Like a temper tantrum throwing toddler without structure in its life, a dog without a set schedule is bound to become irritable and act out. Dogs need set times for interactions, exercise, feeding and training. Yeah, I also pretty much agree with that paragraph as well. A schedule is very effective for most dogs because it does help them know what's coming next. If you do know what's coming next, then it's less likely that you're gonna be anxious. Also, by having it scheduled, you know that your dog is gonna get this enrichment that we talked about in the last paragraph. 3. Leadership is the foundation of training. Dog training relies on the presence of one pack leader. A dog lover who assumes the role of the pack leader will have successful training session. Well, this one is complete bullshit. Dogs, and by the way, wolves, are not pack animals, at least not in the way that Cesar Millan makes them look like. They don't have this alpha, and you need to be that alpha in order to kind of keep them in their place and make sure that they don't get that tantrum behavior like they mentioned before. A wolf pack is the parents and 1 or 2 generations of pups. And the pups are not trying to become the leader of the pack. Usually when they get older, they just leave and start forming their own pack. Also, your dog doesn't really think he's a person, so you being an alpha doesn't make him think that you're the leader of the pack, because you're not a dog. But they don't have packs anyway, so again, it doesn't really matter. 4. Half the battle takes place in your mind. You must have unweaving mental strength and confidence to gain the trust and respect of your dog during training sessions. Your dog can sense if you're uncertain or fear it. So you must control situations by maintaining the role of an authoritative pack leader. So first, again with this pack nonsense, no pack. Second, your dog might be able to sense that you're uncertain or afraid. But if you're afraid of your own dog, that's a whole different story, and you should probably get some help from a professional. In general, you should probably get some help from a professional. Just make sure the professional is not offering these techniques. The last thing is the topic of this paragraph. Half the battle takes place in your mind. What battle? It shouldn't be a battle. It should be something fun for both you and the dog. It should be a game. You're not at war with your dog. 5. Discipline and punishment are not synonymous. Invest heavily in dog training and there will be no need for punishment. That's true. It takes time and effort to see real improvement in your dog's behavior. Don't let your frustration distract you from your goal to properly and successfully train your pet. So this is true, except for how you use or how you define discipline. Watching many of Cesar Millan's videos, I can tell you that his form of discipline is punishment. And in most cases, like they even say here, you don't really need to use punishment. 6. A dog is a dog. Treating a dog in a humanized manner is perhaps the cardinal sin dog lovers commit. Love your dog, but do not treat him as a baby. Only dogs that understand their role within a family unit are actually trainable. Upset the role identification and problems are sure to ensue. So I'm a bit confused because they say a dog is a dog and you shouldn't treat them in a humanized manner. Don't treat them like a baby. So this is number 6. Let's go back for a second to number 2, which was, just like kids, dogs need a schedule. Like a temper tantrum throwing toddler without structure in its life, a dog without a set schedule is bound to become irritable and act out. So dogs are like kids or they're not like kids? I'm confused. It's true that a dog is a dog. So treat your dog in the way that works for your dog and not in a way that works for people. Having said that, many things that we know about dog training are actually true for all species, including people. 7. Dogs need boundaries. Follow Milan's example and set boundaries in your home. If your dog's barking at company bothers you, make this a focal point of your training. If the dog's presence in an off-limits room annoys you, focus this aspect of the dog's behavior instead. Well, I think that kind of goes without saying. If there's something that you don't want your dog to do, you should definitely work on that. Of course, make sure that your expectations are something that can be achieved so you don't get frustrated. 8. Consistency is key. It is easy to let dog get away with eating off your plate just this once, but in so doing you are setting a dangerous precedent. How is the dog to know that tomorrow morning this is no longer acceptable behavior? That is so true. You really need to be consistent in the way that you treat your dog. Again, remember when I said about the schedule and consistency in the dog's environment, knowing when he's gonna be walked, knowing when he's gonna be fed, kind of creates this environment that the dog is less anxious. Because if you know what's gonna happen next, then you're less anxious. The second that you go off your schedule, or like the example that they give here, you give your dog something off your plate, then it's kind of like winning the lottery, right? I mean, we feel the lottery and we hope that we'll get like a giant reward for it, although most of the times we don't win it. Does that make us stop trying? No, we actually continue to try, and we try over and over and over and over again because maybe at one point we will get the reward. The second that you feed your dog off your plate, then you're basically creating the same reward. You're making the dog think that there's a chance that one time in the future is going to get food from you, and that will make him keep trying. Also, if we're talking about consistency, you can check back to see that every single week for something like 2 years, I've been posting one video at least. So show me some love and support and subscribe to the channel. Thanks. 9. Get all family members on board. It takes a household to properly train a dog. You, your partner, and all household members need to be on the same page when it comes to acceptable and unacceptable behavior. While there only is one pack leader, the other family members still are dominant to the dog, and they must treat their relationship with it as such. So the first part is true. It's actually true that all people in the household should treat the dog the same way, but that brings us to the one we just talked about, the consistency. The second part about everyone has to be dominant over the dog or anyone has to be dominant over the dog is not true. 10. Start today. It never is too early or too late to start working with the dog. Whether your canine companion is a puppy or a more mature dog, commit to start today and achieve with your dog what Millan's referred to as a balance between people and dogs. I'm not really sure what a balance between people and dogs mean, but yes, you can train your dog at any age. Now, all of these things are from an article, but if you want to see what I think about how Cesar Millan really trains dogs, check this video out.